I love Path of Exile. At time of recording, I have over 400 hours in it, which means my time as a beginner in that game is very much coming to a middle, but Path of Exile is not the first ARPG I played. Many years ago, a friend tried to get me into Diablo 3, and while I remember enjoying it, I'm fairly sure I was carried through all of it. I don't remember much about the game other than I had no clue what was happening. Overall, I don't think I forgot all that much, seeing as I didn't know much to begin with, but now, with some more ARPG experience under my belt, I decided to revisit it, and so I'm finally here with my first important decision. Character class. I decided to go with the wizard because the allure of zappy lightning spells never fails to grab me. Arc is one of my favourite skills in Path of Exile, so I'm hoping to be able to play something similar here. After locking in my choice and deciding on a name, the game takes me into Act 1. It should be noted that I'm not following any guides. I'm basing all my skilling decisions for the entire game going forward based on what I think might work or be good. I'm very much creating a vibes-based build here. I'll also be playing in solo self found in Season 35. Unfortunately, with this first episode I made a couple of mistakes with the audio recording, one of which I'll fix later in the video, one of which will be fixed for next time. As a result, in this episode there will be very few game sounds or live reactions, though I hope to include more of those in future episodes. What I want to do with this series is make it through the story and explore what some of the end game of Diablo 3 has to offer. I load into the Overlook Road and start figuring out the controls. Click to move is very familiar, so it doesn't take any adjustment, but there's no option to separate the binds for movement and the magic missile skill on left click, so that will take a little getting used to. I dispatch my first few enemies with ease, then head further down the road and reach the gate to New Tristram, the hub for Act 1. Captain Rumford gives me my first quest to help defend the village, and with Risen spawning all around me, I'm left with very little choice but to help. I'm also hoping to find information here about a fallen star under the guidance of a prophecy. After blasting off a lot of magic missiles and showing off my incredible stutter step skills, they all go down without too much trouble and I hit level 2, unlocking Ray of Frost. I head to the inn in the village and talk to Leah, who proceeds to mention the one character I do remember from my first time playing this game, Deckard Cain. More Risen spawn from the villagers nearby, but Magic Missile and Ray of Frost deal with them easily. After checking that Leah's okay, I head back outside to talk to Captain Rumford and ask him how I can help. He directs me to the old ruins, telling me to take care of the wretched queen that lives there, and upon killing a wretched mother that ambushes me, I get my first piece of gear. Some cloth pants that give me 7 whole armor points. Nice. A little further up the road, I take out the first of 3 additional wretched mothers that I need for a bonus quest, and it drops a short sword of wounding. It takes me a second to figure out that I can't dual wield here. It's honestly kind of rude that they won't let me equip a wand and a sword at the same time for more damage. While I'm equipping it, the second wretched mother sneaks up on me and drops a pair of magic cloth pants when I kill her to replace the ones I got 5 minutes ago. For now, I'm just looking at the damage, toughness and recovery comparisons and equipping whatever gives me more damage. I find my first power globe and a treasure chest inside the musty cellar, and once again try and fail to dual-wield weapons. A little further on I reach level 3 and unlock Shock Pulse, equipping it because, as I said before, Zappy makes the good brain chemicals. I struggle to climb down a well, clear out the monsters hiding there, and find a chest piece and some gloves, which I equip. When I leave, the third wretched mother is waiting for me, but a quick zap dispatches her. Shock Pulse is feeling pretty good for now, so I decide to stick with it for a bit and carry on to the old ruins. The wretched queen falls in about half a second to my ray of frost, dropping 2 more gear pieces in the process, a sash and a pair of magic gloves. I equip both, then head back to town to turn in the quest, netting me level 4, and Frost Nova, as well as a magic belt from the quest rewards. I buy a new pair of pants for a small upgrade as well. The textile industry here must be thriving with how fast I'm replacing this equipment. I offer to help Leah find her uncle, Deckard Cain, so she tags along with me to visit her mother's hut, where I might be able to find more information from Dalton, the captain of the guard. Inside the hidden cellar, I find the former captain of the guard and put him out of his misery before heading on to the cathedral. Inside, I see a glowy blue crater and decide the star must have fallen here, so I start exploring. I run into my first treasure goblin, and killing it grants me level 5, although I forget to check my new skill for a while. A little later on I find this strange black mushroom which Adria was searching for, and the mention of red herrings in the item description has me convinced that this item will be important for later. At this point, things are going smoothly. I haven't died yet, and enemies are dying pretty quickly, so I raise the difficulty to hard where it will stay for the rest of the act. Some more Risen fall to my very satisfying zappies, and I level up to 6, unlocking my first rune. Charged Blast for Magic Missile, which I equip. I head through Leoric's passage and find the man, the myth, the legend, Deckard Cain himself. He's being chased by some skeletons, and then this big guy summons more. Apparently not the fighting type, he leaves them all to me, including the undead executioner, who takes a little longer to kill than all the others. Once we make our introductions, he opens up this secret passage, and I get disappointed that I can't explore through this giant and obviously important door, so I follow him outside and loot a chest. One thing I've noticed so far is how satisfying the Fountain of Gold effect is when a lot of loot drops at once. It makes a great sound as well. I head back to town where Leah is very glad that I saved Deckard Cain, and he tells me that to find the Fallen Star I must first defeat the Skeleton King, which requires me to restore a broken crown to revive him. Before leaving, I head over to check out the Mystic, one of the artisans in this game, level up her shop, then proceed to make an incredibly irresponsible financial decision, spending 2/3 of my gold to dye my top pink. Definitely worth it. The blacksmith, Hedrig, might be able to help me with the crown, but not before he asks me to help find his wife, so we head to the not at all ominously named Cellar of the Damned together, where I absolutely obliterate this door. It turns out that Mira became infected by the patients she was helping and turns undead in front of us, so I take her out and she drops a much better chest piece than the one I'm wearing, making my financial decision from earlier even worse. With little time to grieve, Hedrig tells me what he knows and directs me to the Cemetery of the Forsaken, where I might find the crown, located within the Weeping Hollow. Shortly after arriving, I reach level 7 with the help of some rather explosive chickens. At this point, I don't understand where they come from or why they exist, but I roll with it for now. Level 7 unlocks the Cold Blood rune for Ray of Frost, but what I notice first is Arcane Orb, only 2 levels late on that one, and equip it instead. I find another weapon upgrade, this time a crossbow, which I'm not quite sure how I cast spells with, but for now I don't think too much about it, instead finding an empowered shrine for the first time, and quickly click on it, recognizing that it works similarly to the shrines in Path of Exile. Still confused by the chickens, I keep blasting nearby enemies and scenery pieces with my arcane orb, which I'm enjoying for the time being, and take stock of my gear. Nothing special so far, but it's getting me through Act 1 well enough for now. After killing some more enemies and spawning the confusing chickens again, I notice the Pandemonium buff for the first time, but it doesn't mention my feathery friends, so I don't make the connection quite yet. I want to swap back to Shock Pulse and try out Ray of Frost with its new rune, but I get ambushed before I can make the switch. Once I deal with the enemies, I swap the skills around, and at this point I lament the fact that Shock Pulse feels less effective without a lot of enemies to fight, but I stick with it for the time being and reach level 8, unlocking and equipping Diamond Skin. I make the decision here to switch a few keybinds around so that things more closely match my skill layout in Path of Exile, but this is mostly just for comfort. In an incredible display of skill, I find out what happens if you stand too close to a grotesque when it dies, and take a nice little flight, then continue on to the Cemetery of the Forsaken a little further up the road. I head back to town, picking up some new braces before heading into the first of the crypts under the cemetery, where I run into Digger Odell, who, in my personal opinion, was a bit of an arsehole. He kept putting up walls that blocked my shock pulse, and it took me until halfway through the fight to remember my Ray of Frost, which is much better in single target. For some reason, I get a health tutorial here. I can only assume that it's the first time I lost a significant amount of health while playing, and then find an upgrade for my pants as well. A little further on, I run into a very tanky set of magic mobs, along with a rare, and take them on a wild chase across the length of the zone, not aided by the low damage on shock pulse. Killing them nets me level 9, unlocking Wave of Force, and I head into the next crypt. I blast another loot pinata, getting a glove upgrade and yet more pants from it, and then find a Jar of Souls event which I activate. I get my first random rain of corpses here, which helps me complete the event and hit level 10, unlocking my first passive skills, Power Hungry and Blur, and I decide to equip Blur for some more survivability. Shortly after, I reach level 11, equipping Spectral Blade, which I then try out, and decide that it's pretty fun for now. I go on yet another magic monster kiting journey, which doesn't last quite as long this time, but get a legendary pair of boots for my troubles, which turn out to be the crudest boots. The 6% damage loss I would take for equipping them proves to be rather off-putting, so I keep my current ones for now and make it to level 12 further on in the crypt. This unlocks the Shatter rune for Frost Nova, which is pretty cool if you ask me, so I equip it along with Arcane Torrent, which I try out and swap back to Arcane Orb. I reach level 2 of the Defiled Crypt and rather quickly blast Manglemore, the mini-boss in this area, before heading through to the Chancellor's Tomb where I'm hoping that I might find the altar. When I go to take the crown, the ghost of Chancellor Aemon shows up to try and stop me. I guess he's not best impressed that I'm disturbing his rest, and after a bit of running around, he goes back to sleep. The quest finally gives me an offhand, which I equip, and I pick up the broken crown before portaling back to New Tristram and give it to Hedrick. This unlocks the blacksmith, which allows me to craft armor, and I level him up to rank 2 before making a stop off at my favorite vendor to make another irresponsible financial decision. With the crown repaired, I can head back to that big door I wasn't allowed through earlier, leading me to level 2 of the cathedral, where I reach level 13 while punching another loot goblin. This unlocks Energy Twister along with the Glacial Spike rune for Magic Missile, both of which I try out. Energy Twister proves a bit fiddly and Glacial Spike feels a little underwhelming, so I swap both of them back before heading to the cathedral level 3. Some cultists are performing a ritual of some description, and I decide to help the warrior that they're doing God knows what to, and after rescuing him he asks if I can help find his gear. He tags along and it doesn't take too long to find it. I kill a rare monster along the way, and he follows me to kill Jondar, a necromancer. Jondar doesn't give me any trouble, and killing him nets me level 14, granting me ice armor. The Templar rudely interrupts my thinking while I check out this new skill, but it turns out he wants to join me, so I agree, picking up Intervene and Loyalty for him as his 2 skills to start with. As it happens, I have a fair few random pieces of gear laying about, so he immediately gets a bunch of upgrades just before I head deeper. Level 4 of the cathedral brings with it level 15 for me and my Templar buddy, and I unlock the skill I've had my eye on ever since I saw it was an option. Electrocute. I mentioned Arc from Path of Exile at the beginning of this video, and Electrocute works almost identically to that. blasting an enemy with a bolt of lightning before chaining between others nearby, so I swap to it immediately, as well as equipping the impactful wave rune to Wave of Force. I eagerly search for a pack of mobs to try out my new lightning on, and find myself thoroughly satisfied before heading to the Royal Crypts. I discover what's been causing me to speed up randomly from time to time, and then while these ghosts are having a yap sesh, I finally pick the charge skill for the Templar. I reach the crypt of the Skeleton King, take out some returned with my satisfying zaps, and then head on through to the boss room. The Skeleton King takes a little while to whittle down, as I frequently forget about Arcane Orb. I blame this on having far too much fun with the Electrocute skill, but eventually I take him out, and he collapses into an immensely satisfying gold fountain, which includes a legendary helmet. Fittingly, it's Leoric's crown, a big upgrade for me due to the 36 intelligence it provides, as well as triple the armor of my previous one, so it gets equipped before I continue on. I finally make it to the desolate chamber at the bottom of the cathedral, where I find someone called the Stranger lying in the crater left by the falling star, and he confirms that it was in fact him that left this mess. I take him back to town, where I find out that I have an upgrade for my offhand, and talk to Deckard Cain again, learning of the Stranger's sword which shattered into 3 pieces. The first sword piece is in the Khazra Den, situated in the Fields of Misery, and along the way I reach level 16, unlocking slow time as a defensive skill. Another treasure goblin gets popped, and I head into the den to search for the sword shard. There are some more cultists here, led by Uric the Seer, but me and the Templar make a pretty good team between his tanking and my zapping, so he falls without any trouble. When I go to pick up the sword shard, Magda appears to reprimand me, saying that the sword is totally hers or something. I don't know. I was busy killing things while she was talking and reached level 17, causing me to unlock storm armor. I equip my new skill and grab the shard, then head back to town to tell the others that we're not the only ones hunting for the sword. The next piece is located in the Drowned Temple, and Leah comes with me this time. Along the way I run into the scoundrel at the old mill, and he tells me that brigands have taken his lover hostage to get back at him. One of them was surely destined for a life of crime, as his parents named him Nigel Cutthroat, but with a name like Nigel, who can really blame him? Unfortunately, 4 versus 1 isn't very fair, and Nigel has to suffer his name no longer. Having rescued the scoundrel's lover, I escort him north to the waypoint, where he makes his intention to desert her pretty clear pretty quickly. He also wants to join as a companion, but I sent him back to town, deciding that he'd be more trouble than he's worth. When I make it to the temple, I'm greeted by Alaric, a long-lost member of the Blue Man group, who warns me that only Nephilim may enter the temple. I decide to try anyway, and to do so I need to retrieve 2 beacons from nearby tombs, the Beacon of Honor from Warrior's Rest, and the Beacon of Light from the Crypt of the Ancients. In Warrior's Rest I hit level 18, unlocking the Firebolt's rune for Shock Pulse, but I keep on using Electrocute for now. I pick up the beacon, and on the way to the second one run across the last stand of the Ancients, another event. I complete it, and then find the crypt, where I get my longest kill streak yet at 62. I take the second beacon, and shortly after I level up to 19, unlocking my final active skill slot, Explosive Blast, as well as the Flame Blades rune for Spectral Blade, which I equip. I place the beacons on the pedestals at the entrance to the temple, and Alaric warns me that his ancient brothers will fight me when I head inside. As I enter, Leah gushes over the architecture and I come across Ezek the Prophet, Brother Moek, Brother Laurel and Brother Carol, the aforementioned guardians who all fall before us. Alaric hints cryptically at our true identity, and just as I reach the second sword shard, Magda shows up again, but I quickly rid myself of her minions and claim the shard before heading back to town. It's here I discover what Deckard Cain's book does, though I don't yet have any items to identify, and then I head on to wear them, after getting warned that smoke rises from the village. The village is on fire when I arrive, and surprising no one, I find Magda and her cultists at the centre of it. She sets someone called Exile Mordreg on me, which is a name almost as unfortunate as Nigel, so I put him out of his misery as well. Killing these dark berserkers gets me an achievement, as well as level 20, unlocking our second passive slot. I equip Prodigy for some arcane power regain, and decide I miselectrocute too much, so I swap back to that too. My pal the Templar learns Guardian, and this priest tells me that the sword hilt is in the Wortham Chapel cellar, so I go for a little jog around Magda while she yaps about capturing my friends, and I hurry back to the village to rescue them. She and her cultists have captured everyone, and my arcane orb absolutely ruins this serious cutscene where it rotates in the corner as she steals the stranger and runs away. Leah finishes off the rest of the cultists with a mysterious power, and Deckard Cain repairs the sword using the last of his fading strength, but the exertion proves too much for him, which I was clearly very broken up about. Rip to the goat, I guess. I head towards the caverns of Aranea and desecrate a few corpses on the way, before finding some suspiciously egg sac-shaped scenery objects which turn out to be egg sacs. An alchemist asks me to deliver a potion to a hermit who turns out to be about 20 steps away, which has me questioning why the alchemist couldn't make the delivery himself. Entering the cavern, I find a rare spider with the Jailer modifier, which very quickly becomes my least favourite, and kill it for a helmet upgrade. A little further on, I run into a cursed chest, another one of the events, and with the help of some corpses falling from the ceiling, I take out enough enemies to spawn the bonus chest when the timer runs out. I also reach level 21, gaining access to the Chilling Aura rune for ice armor, as well as Disintegrate and Hydra, so I equip all three, and when I open the chests, my first two gems drop, an amethyst and a ruby. I'm not wearing anything with sockets on at the moment, so I save them for later and head into the chamber of Queen Aranea. There's a woman trapped in a large web who warns me that the Spider Queen is coming, to which my character responds in a shocked manner, like she hasn't just run through a dungeon full of spiders, webs and egg sacs. My new Disintegrate spell along with the Hydra team up to melt her pretty quickly, but she keeps running away and summoning adds to delay the inevitable. She drops a diamond when I finally kill her, and I now have a chest piece with a socket in it, so I equip my first gem for plus 10 resistance to all elements, as well as the Socket to Me achievement. I free the woman, who introduces herself as Karina, and tells me that the way forward is blocked by some Khazra who are angry that she has their staff, which she suggests I return to them in the hopes they let me pass. I level up to 22 on the way there, which unlocks Teleport, Familiar, and the Chain Lightning rune for Electrocute. I quickly swap them all in, find the Khazra staff, and then test out my new and improved Zappies on Nalgban the Foul, who doesn't put up too much of a fight, but I decide that I like the Chilling Aura from Ice Armor and put that back on instead. I approach the Gaza barricade with every intent of negotiating with them, until they immediately attack me and try to take the staff back by force, so I guess I'm doing this the hard way. The EXP I gained from failed negotiations nets me level 23, unlocking the Time Shell rune for slow time, but I stick with teleport for now as I head on to Leoric's Manor. I clear out some cultists and head inside, where I'm greeted by some demons and yet more cultists when I head deeper in. I get a warning about my inventory filling up when I pick up a new chest piece. This one has 2 sockets and gives me more damage, so I equip it. This wounded man tells me where Magda took the stranger, and as I reach the Halls of Agony, which has strong end-of-act dungeon vibes, I quickly head back to town to solve the overcrowding in my pockets. Deckard Cain's book helps me identify an amulet I picked up, which turns out to be a pretty great upgrade for me, and I also discover that salvaging an item with a gem in it returns the gem to you, so I resocket it into my new chest piece. I upgrade the blacksmith and craft myself a new belt, new shoulder pads, and an offhand for my mate the Templar before upgrading the mystic and working out how enchanting works. Back in the Halls of Agony, I make it to level 24, unlocking the Siphoning Blade rune for Spectral Blade and the Unleashed rune for Explosive Blast. I also equip Astral Presence for some more arcane power regen, then head on down to the next floor. Another treasure goblin mysteriously explodes, I do some light reading, and I head outside across a bridge to find Leoric's queen, Asilla, carrying her own head around. She asks me to free some prisoners' remains, and the ensuing fight with restless goats nets me another level. Level 25 brings with it Mirror Image, which gets equipped in place of Explosive Blast, as well as Meteor and the Death Blossom rune for Arcane Torrent, both of which I leave for now after testing them out. It's around this point I start to figure out what sort of build I want to work towards, so going forward I won't mention every single rune unlock unless I swap it into the build. I find another diamond and equip it for 10 more elemental resistance, and free the rest of the prisoners with the help of my 2 mirror images, who also use all of my other spells so that there's triple the zapping and triple the hydras. Equipping this topaz to an orb I picked up doesn't increase its damage as much as I thought, so I leave it in my inventory for now and head to the center of the level to face the Warden. Now that fights are 8 on 1, it feels even less fair than before, and the Warden falls almost faster than the time it takes for him to spawn in the first place. The stairs behind him lead to level 3 of the Halls of Agony, and I hit level 26, which unlocks the Arcane Hydra rune, giving my Hydra some extra AoE power along with the Safe Passage rune for teleport. I find the Chamber of Suffering and the boss of the Act, who I introduce myself to.
Leah must be back in Tristram, crying over the old man's corpse. She'll soon have another one to cry over. Yours. Meet the Butcher.
The Butcher? Say nice to meet you, but I'm sure it's not. It's terrifying.
Fresh meat.
The Butcher fight is pretty good as far as an Act boss fight goes. There's plenty of area denial with the fiery floor and some iconic skills like his hook, giving me plenty to keep me on my toes as I whittle him down. He's not dissimilar from Brutus, a boss in Act 1 in Path of Exile, although he's not the final Act boss in that case, and the Butcher came first by about a year, so if anything, Brutus is the one that takes inspiration. As the fight wears on, I manage to get him fairly low before shooting my balls into his backside, and I make a timely observation about his health.
My bags are full.
Another satisfying loot shower later and my inventory is full, so I quickly empty them out in town before returning to find a wand with 33% more damage than my current one, as well as the pox folds, a pair of pants that make you nervously fart when too many people are near you. Relatable. After recovering it from a previous piece of equipment, I equip the topaz into the fart pants, which makes my brain grow an extra wrinkle, and head onwards to find the stranger, being held down by cultists. I take them out and return the stranger's now repaired sword, and he remembers that he's Tyrael, an archangel of the high heavens. Oh shit.
I remember now.
Back in town, he tells me to head east, but as Act 1 draws to a close, I pause the story progress there for now and take care of some business around town. I decide that I have far too much gold to my name, so I spend 12,960 of it making my whole outfit color coordinated, which nets me an achievement and a very stylish outfit, and then upgrade the Mystic and the Blacksmith once each before stopping there for now. I had a lot of fun diving into Diablo 3, especially now that I have a lot more ARPG experience under my belt. I feel like I'm much more able to understand the systems and how things work compared to when I was being blasted through the game by a friend. That's not to say that that was a bad experience at all. I had a lot of fun back then and it was a great way to hang out and play games together, but this time around I can pay a lot more attention to what I'm doing rather than just getting carried through. I think my favourite thing so far is the gold and loot explosions. The shower of items flying out of the monster's corpse hits the spot every time, and I'm not sure I'll ever get tired of that. I also enjoyed how easy it is to swap out skills and try new things. That takes a little more work in Path of Exile, where you have skill gems and socket colours to worry about, although I think I've decided on 5 of the 6 skills I want to run with going forward, so there may be a little less experimentation in future episodes. I'm really looking forward to diving more into the gear system as well. That was something I had no clue about last time I played outside of damage number green equip new gear, so I want to try and make more sense of it this time around. This is different from the style of video I usually make on this channel, but it's been a lot of fun to record, edit and script, and I have plans to turn this into a series and continue with Act 2 and beyond. It takes a lot longer, however, to make these than it does to make my usual style of live commentary videos, so for now at least I'm not committing to a set schedule. They'll release as and when I've recorded and created them, but I do hope you'll come back for the next one and maybe check out some of my other series in the meantime. If you made it this far, please consider leaving a like and a comment below the video, as well as a subscription. All of them help the algorithm. I tried to make sure to read through every comment I get and respond as much as I can, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and have you along for the rest of the journey. I don't think there's anything else I need to say, so that's going to be it from me. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.